our Lord. بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونتوكل عليه. نعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا. من يهد الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له. أشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. إن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله، وإن خير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم، وإن شر الأمور محدثاتها، وإن كل محدثة بدعة، وكل بدعة ضلالة، وكل ضلالة في النار. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. O believers, O you who believe, ittaqullah, be conscious of Allah, be aware of your Lord. وَلَا تَمُوتُنَّ إِلَّا وَأَنْتُمْ مُسْلِمُونَ, and do not die except that you are Muslims. As the Prophet used to say in the dua, asking Allah, Allahumma ahyina ala al-Islam wa amitna ala al-Iman. Ask Allah to make us live according to Islam and make us die with Iman. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. Allah continues to say to mankind in general, ittaqullah, fear Allah, be conscious of Allah. الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة, one who created you from a single soul, and from it created its mate, and from them two created a multitude of people, males and females. Then Allah again exhorts us to ittaqullah, to fear Him, to be conscious of Allah and the relations. In other words, do not break the family ties. Yes, we have relatives who are not Muslims, but that does not mean that we should break that tie. Only if they fight against you. If they do not fight against you, do not fight against your deen, then you have no right to break that tie. And of course, Allah is always watching over us. Allah is aware of what you're doing. So do not think that you can hide away and escape and do some evil, and because no one has seen you, that Allah has not captured that act. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم يغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطيع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. Again, Allah exhorts the believers to have taqwa of Him, to be aware of Him in all you do and say, and speak a word that is correct, that is right, that is to the point and truthful. Allah will improve your situation and forgive your sins. And indeed, whoever obeys Allah and the Messenger has achieved great success. Today, we want to talk about a concept called Millat Ibrahim. Millat Ibrahim. The Millat of Ibrahim, alayhi salam, the creed of Ibrahim, or the religion of Ibrahim in confined in a confined way of using the word religion. Allah mentions this expression many times in the Quran, Millat Ibrahim, right? The creed of Abraham alayhi salam, or the religion of Abraham. And notice that Allah is using the word the Millat of Ibrahim, not the Deen of Ibrahim, the Millat of Ibrahim, Millat Ibrahim, not Deen of Ibrahim. And there's a I guess you could say a subtle difference or a big difference, depends how you look at it, right? To get to the point, basically, millah refers to the way of belief in general, the way one approaches belief in God. And Deen refers to what you actually believe and do. So the millah is like the I guess you could say the aqidah. In terms, if we say Deen is aqidah and Sharia, belief and regulation of the actions, then millah would fall under aqidah in that aspect. So and then once you have right aqidah, then of course the Sharia falls into place. So we start by quoting a couple of verses from the Quran where Allah mentions the expression Millat Ibrahim. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وقالوا كونوا هودا أو نصارى تهتدوا قل بل ملة إبراهيم حنيفا وما كان من المشركين. And they say, be Jews and Christians and you will be guided. And Allah says, say, it is the Millah of Ibrahim, it is the creed of Ibrahim, the upright one, or that which leads to being upright. And he was not of the mushrikeen. So, as you will see in all these verses, for the most part, Millat Ibrahim is connected to shirk. You know, وَمَا كَانَ مِنَ الْمُشْرِكِينَ يعني قُلْ بَلْ مِلَّةِ إِبْرَاهِيمَ حَنِيفًا وَمَا كَانَ مِنَ الْمُشْرِكِينَ. Right? So whenever Allah mentions Millat Ibrahim, almost always is followed by وَمَا كَانَ مِنَ الْمُشْرِكِينَ. And shirk, of course, has to do with aqidah. Right? So Millat Ibrahim is connected to belief, creed. Then Allah goes on to say, ومن يرغب عن ملة إبراهيم إلا من سفه نفسه ولقد اصطفيناه في الدنيا وإنه في الآخرة لمن الصالحين. And whoever turns away from the millah of Ibrahim, from the creed of Ibrahim, I mean, no one turns away from the millah of Ibrahim except one who has befooled himself, right? And indeed, Abraham was an upright person, and in the Akhirah, he's one of the righteous people. Then after there's a dispute about the Christians and Jews talking about their belief and stuff like that, saying that they're on the right path. And then Allah says in the Quran, ثم أوحينا إليك أن تتبع ملة إبراهيم وما كان من المشركين. ثم أوحينا إليك أن تتبع ملة إبراهيم وما كان من المشركين. And then we inspired you to follow the millat of Ibrahim, to follow the millat of Ibrahim. Indeed, he was not of the mushrikeen. Then, again, we have another verse that says, قُلْ إِنَّنِي هَدَانِ رَبِّي إِلَىٰ صِرَاطٍ مُسْتَقِيمٍ دِينًا قِيَمًا مِلَّةَ إِبْرَاهِيمَ حَنِيفًا وَمَا كَانَ مِنَ الْمُشْرِكِينَ. And indeed, my Lord has guided me to the right path. What is this right path? It is a deen, an upright deen of uprightness, of righteousness. Millat Ibrahim, the creed of Ibrahim alayhi salam, وَمَا كَانَ مِنَ الْمُشْرِكِينَ. So basically, the Millat Ibrahim is about Tawheed. The deen of the creed of Ibrahim alayhi salam is Tawheed. And the famous argument that Allah gave to Ibrahim alayhi salam can be recalled as when Ibrahim alayhi salam was with his people in Babylon, or Babel at the time. These were people who were worshipping idols and the planets and stars and stuff like that. Then Allah gave Ibrahim alayhi salam an argument to rebut what they were believing in. So, and the argument goes like this. You know, Ibrahim is saying to them, he saw the star at night, because people worship the stars and the planets and the heavenly bodies. So, and he said, this is my Lord. The stars out there is very bright, it's very big. This is my Lord. You know, but then the star set. In other words, the sun rose and the star disappeared. So if someone takes this as a Lord, as a God, what kind of thing is this? It doesn't stay. It doesn't. Something is bigger than that. Something outshone it. So he said, I do not like things that set. In other words, when he first sees it, when the moon goes down, when the sun goes down, it's as if when the sun sets, it's as if the planets and the moons are rising, and when the sun rises, it's as if the planets and the moons are setting. So this is an expression. So he said, I do not like things that set. And then he turns to the moon and says, the moon is out there, it's very big. When the moon comes out, it outshines the other planets. You can't see certain planets. So he said, this is my Lord. And then the moon set. The sun rose and the moon set. Or the moon had its time of rising and setting, it disappeared. Then it said, as a way of argument, if my Lord did not guide me, I will surely become of those who are going astray, of the disbelievers. And then the sun rose. The sun came out in daytime. He said, "Oh, this is bigger. This is my Lord." And then the sun set. So if this were to be taken as a God, as a Lord, as something, and then it sets, it disappears, then this is not worthy of being worshipped. In other words, my Lord is everlasting. Nothing defeats it. It continues. It goes on forever. So this was the argument that Ibrahim Islam used against that Allah gave Ibrahim against to guide the people to Islam. In other words, these things you're saying are temporary, are fleeting. There is something bigger and better than those things. So it doesn't matter what you imagine. There's always going to be something bigger and better and greater and ever more lasting. So all the things that you have set up as partners to Allah or as objects to be worshipped, they're not worthy of being worshipped, right? And then we come to the point about some people that have used this expression literally, because in the Quran it's mentioned that we should follow Masjid Ibrahim, and some people either because of their intention or willingness to be misguided, or because they're ignorant, they've used this expression in a convoluted way, right? And what I'm getting to is there are people right now in the world that are acting as Muslims and who want nothing to do with the Sharia of Muhammad alayhi salam. In other words, whatever Allah gave to Muhammad alayhi salam as Deen, Aqeedah and Sharia, they want nothing to do with that. And their argument is, their defense is, we follow Millat Ibrahim. We follow the creed of Ibrahim, because Allah said in the Quran, as you can see from the verses, وَاتَّبِعْ مِلَّةِ إِبْرَاهِيمَ حَنِيفًا وَاتَّبِعْ, and follow, stick to the Millat of Ibrahim. And they're saying this directly to the Prophet and to the Muslims, that they should stick to Millat Ibrahim. But of course, this is a flawed argument, and we'll get to it in the second part of the khutbah. I think I know Asr is coming at like 2:20, 2:25, so we need to wrap it up and before it gets too late. The Jama'ah is kind of small, and people are going to start coming in maybe after 5 minutes, but we can't wait for that. So أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين استغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. اللهم بك عفو كريم تحب العفو فاعف عنا. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. Again, this is Jumu'ah, Friday, and the sunnah is to say salawat on the Prophet many times. Right? In addition to the daily salawat we do on the Prophet Islam in the morning, 10 times in the morning after Fajr, or between Fajr and after Fajr, sometimes after Fajr, and then 10 times in the afternoon after Asr. In addition to that, on Friday, we should always repeat the salawat on the Prophet, and this can take a very simple form. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sallam. You're asking Allah to bless, to give the salat, to bless the Prophet and his family. Saying, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sallam. Right? To bless him and grant him peace. Right? Now, the Millat Ibrahim, the creed of Ibrahim, is a creed of Tawheed. Right? It's part of the Aqeedah. Right? We're not meant to follow the Sharia of Ibrahim. We know Ibrahim ﷺ was given Sharia, because Allah says in the Quran, صُحُفِ إِبْرَاهِيمَ وَمُوسَى صُحُفِ إِبْرَاهِيمَ وَمُوسَى, the scriptures of Ibrahim and Musa. So Ibrahim is a Rasul, and a Rasul is a prophet who has been given a message, a book, basically. And it doesn't have to be in a book form per se, but a Sharia, basically. And Ibrahim ﷺ was given a Sharia. Now, for someone coming and saying that we should follow the Millat Ibrahim, in the sense that we should follow the Deen of Ibrahim, meaning the Aqidah of Ibrahim, the belief system of Ibrahim, and the Sharia of Ibrahim, then that's flawed, right? That's a flawed thing, because we're not living, number one, we're not living in the time of Ibrahim alayhi salam. Ibrahim came and passed away a long time ago, right? And many prophets came after Ibrahim. Many prophets and messengers came after Ibrahim alayhi salam. So, the part of being, the essence of being Muslim is to believe in Allah and follow the messenger of your time, right? And the messenger of our time is Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He was the one that came almost 1,500 years ago, right? And he passed away. And there has not been any prophet after him, and there will not be any prophet after him. So anyone who lived after his time has to take him as the prophet or messenger of his time. In other words, he's a prophet and messenger until the day of judgment. All right. Now, to say that we're going to follow the Sharia of Ibrahim, number one, is flawed because we're not living in the time of Ibrahim. Musa alayhi salam came after Ibrahim. Musa alayhi salam came with the Torah. So if we're going to follow, a Sharia, it would have to be something after Ibrahim. Would it be the Torah or the Injil or something else? Right? So it can't be the Sharia of Ibrahim alayhi salam, because the Sharia of Ibrahim was meant for the time of Ibrahim, the people of Ibrahim, and that's it. It was meant to be forever. So those who are saying that, oh, I want to follow this, we should follow the millet of Ibrahim, meaning the Sharia of Ibrahim, we don't have it, and even if we had it, we shouldn't follow it. We don't have it, and even if we had it, we shouldn't follow it. Because the Sharia of Musa came after the Sharia of Ibrahim, which meant that it became the Sharia of the time, of the people living at that time. And of course, we're not in Ibrahim's time, we're not in Musa's time, we're not in Isa's time, Islam, we are in Muhammad's time, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So we have no choice but to follow that Sharia, the Sharia of Muhammad alayhi salam. Right? So, and as exemplified in the hadith in Bukhari, that some of the Sahaba, one of the Sahaba, could have been Umar, came with the Torah, something written from, translated from Torah into Arabic. I mean, the Jews used to do that. They used to translate the Torah into Arabic and told Muslims, and as a way to prevent them from becoming Muslims, or to bring them to Judaism, And what does the Prophet ﷺ response? His response was that we should not disbelieve what they say, nor should we believe what they say. So whatever they are saying, which is confirmed in the Quran and the sound Hadith, we take. We say this is the truth. It doesn't matter who's presenting it, whether they are Christians or Jews or Sabians or Majusi, whoever they are, or Satanists. Whatever they say that is confirmed in the Quran and Hadith, we take that as right and correct and true. And whatever they say that's not verified, and it's not contradicted by the Quran, we leave it as it is. We don't say it is false, we don't say it is true. We don't disbelieve it, nor do we believe it. Leave it. Don't say anything about it. Stick to what Allah revealed to you, either in the Quran or in the sound Hadith. All right? So, so even if we had the Suhuf of Ibrahim alayhi salam, or the Sharia in details of Ibrahim alayhi salam, it would not benefit us right now. We could, as far as the information is concerned, yes, we could read and have an idea of what it was like in that time. But as far as following, no, we cannot follow the Sharia of Ibrahim, nor the Sharia of Musa, nor the Sharia of Isa. We can only follow the Sharia of Muhammad ﷺ, because he's the prophet of our time. So their argument about following the millet of Ibrahim, meaning the Deen of Ibrahim, is a way to escape following the Sharia of Muhammad. Because they know that we don't have the Sharia of Ibrahim, because there's nothing in the Quran about the Sharia of Ibrahim per se, except for Hajj and Salah. There's nothing there per se. We don't have the details of the Sharia of Ibrahim. So they're sticking to this point is a way to say that we're not going to do anything, basically. In other words, we're going to follow the Sharia of Ibrahim, not the Sharia of Muhammad, but there's nothing in the Sharia of Ibrahim that you have right now. So is there excuse to say that, well, we're not going to do anything, basically? We're Muslims, but we're following the millet of Ibrahim. In other words, we're not doing anything. We're not making salah, we're not fasting, we're not blah, blah, blah. We're not doing any of those things, because we are following the millet of Ibrahim, and we don't have the Sharia of Ibrahim. Right? But as far as following the Aqidah of Ibrahim, the millet of Ibrahim, the Aqidah part of it, the Aqidah aspect, which is what's referred to in all these verses, that's binding on everyone. Yes. But of course, we're told in the Aqidah to follow the Prophet, to believe in the prophets and the messengers and follow them. They seem to forget that part. again, it's a way to say that we're Muslims, but we're not doing anything because we're covered by Millat Ibrahim. Right? It's a flaw, and it's happening right now. There are people in the world that are taking this position, saying that we are following Millat Ibrahim because the Quran says so. But if we're going to take from the Quran, then what about other verses that talk about following the Prophet and following Allah and the Prophet Islam? What about those verses? So you're taking one verse or several verses that talk about one thing, Millat Ibrahim, and then what about Wati Allah wa Rasul? Wati Allah wa Rasulahu? What about that? Obeying Allah and His Messenger, which is clearly referring to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. What about that part of it you're not taking? All right. And these are examples of bid'ah. These are innovations in the Deen. Taking this position is definitely a bid'ah in the Deen. There's no doubt. All right. And all the bid'ah, kull bid'ah dalala, and every bid'ah is a dalala, is a going astray, as you can see. I mean, they're saying that we're Muslims, we're following Millat Ibrahim, and then they're not doing salah. They're doing all the haram you can think of because, well, we don't have this in Sharia Ibrahim. Well, you don't have Sharia Ibrahim. All right. So every bid'ah is a balala. Every innovation making the Deen is a going astray, and every going astray is leading to hellfire. Because if you have the Deen of Muhammad in front of you, it's not like you don't have it. We have it, the Deen of Muhammad in front of us, and you're not following it, and you're saying you're Muslim. Then there's something wrong. I mean, there's something wrong. You're in trouble. I mean, this will lead to hellfire. I mean, we can't say that you're in hellfire because it's not for us to say that, But whoever, dies on disbelief, will be in the fire. I don't know how people in this day and age, can still stick to that belief that we're following Millat Ibrahim when all the information you have is right in front of you. I mean, it's very odd, really weird. May Allah protect us from such bid'ah, because this is a clear and obvious bid'ah in the Deen. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. We ask Allah to send us Allah, His blessing and His peace on Prophet ﷺ and on his family and on those who followed him until the day of judgment. So the Salat al-Salam is not just for the Prophet Islam or the Prophets, it's for anyone basically that is sticking to Islam in general. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار لا تخرج أنت مع الأبرار يا عزيز يا غفار يا رب العالمين. And of course we ask Allah to grant us the good in this life and the next and to grant us paradise and save us from the hellfire. اللهم إنك عفو كريم تحب العفو فاعف عنا. Allah, you're the one who wipes out sin, and you're generous. So we ask you to wipe out our sin and save us from hellfire. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. This is the dua of Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam and Hawa. They had committed an error. They had slipped, and then once they realized that what they had done, they made tawbah to Allah and asked Allah to forgive them of their sins. Otherwise, they'll become of the losers. ربنا رب اغفر لي ولوالدي ولمن دخل بيتي المؤمنين والمؤمنات ولا تزد الظالمين إلا تبارا. This is a very harsh dua. Harsh in you might say it's not so harsh, but at the time when it was made by Prophet Nuh alayhi salam, he made dua against the people. He made a couple of dua. This is one of the dua that he made after he had given da'wah for 950 years. And they laughed at him and made fun of him. In the end, he made a dua against them. And there are two prophets that we have in the Deen that made dua against their people. Prophet Nuh alayhi salam and Prophet Musa. And Nuh alayhi salam made his dua, Rabbi ighfir li wal walidayya. My Lord, forgive me and my parents. وَلَمَنْ دَخْلَ بَيْتَ مُؤْمِنًا, and whoever enters my house as a believer. وَلَا تَزِدْ الظَّالِمِينَ إِلَّا تَبَارًا. وَلَا تَزِدْ الظَّالِمِينَ وَالْمُؤْمِنِينَ وَالْمُؤْمِنَاتِ, and the believers, of course. وَلَا تَزِدْ الظَّالِمِينَ إِلَّا تَبَارًا. And do not increase the disbelievers except in destruction. I mean, you might say, oh, this doesn't sound so harsh, but this is a harsh dua, because destruction means hellfire. And there's nothing worse than hellfire in the hereafter. So if someone's making dua that you enter hellfire, this is a very harsh dua. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى اله وسلم. اقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين. إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. إن الصلاة كانت على المؤمنين كتابا موقوتا. Indeed, Salah has been enjoined on the believers to be established at certain times. So let us make Salah. اللهم إنك عفو كريم تحب فاعف عنا. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. أقم الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن